Toxic sister-in-law's plot to shame me led her to jail and a divorce. For the last 7 years, I, 29F, have been married to Charles. I enjoy everything about our marriage, except for his relationship with his sister, Karen, who constantly brings negativity into our lives. When I initially met Karen, I liked her, but my view rapidly changed over time. She is poisonous, manipulative, and deeply negative. Knowing the kind of person she is, I worked hard over the years to stay on her good side. Charles dated Karen's best friend, Steffi, when he was 17, but they broke up because he felt pressured into the relationship by Karen. When he turned 23, Karen attempted to set him up with another friend of hers, but Charles disagreed. She went crying to their parents, saying she wanted him to marry someone she felt comfortable with. His parents, however, didn't take her seriously. When Charles and I met and fell in love, his parents were very encouraging, but Karen treated me coldly. She would often bring up Charles's exes for no apparent reason whenever I was around, suggesting ways he could reconnect with them. This continued for some time until Charles eventually told her to stop. Her behavior escalated as she began mocking me, claiming I was jealous and unworthy of Charles. As our relationship progressed, Karen's interference worsened. When we got engaged, everyone congratulated us except Karen, who dramatically left the gathering. Later, she called Charles, crying and yelling about how she should have been the first to know about the engagement. Karen even sent me borderline threatening messages, insisting she had always been the only woman in Charles's life. I ignored her messages, which likely angered her even more. Karen stayed involved in the wedding preparations but made every effort to undermine me. She openly criticized my choices, mocked me in front of others, and claimed Charles deserved someone better. After one particularly rude comment about my centerpiece choice, I lost my temper and told her she was no longer invited to the wedding. My future mother-in-law backed me up, but Karen called Charles, insisting he control me. Eventually, Karen grudgingly apologized and attended the wedding. However, she arrived wearing a black floor-length gown and a veil, making it seem like she was mourning Charles, losing her to another woman. She caused such a scene that Charles's parents ultimately forced her to leave the reception. After the wedding, I decided to cut Karen out of my life. When I gave birth to my son John, I made it clear she wasn't allowed near him. She initially tried to oppose this, but Charles's parents supported my decision. However, after Karen suffered a miscarriage, Charles and I felt sympathy for her and allowed her limited contact with John. While she seemed kinder initially, she eventually reverted to her manipulative ways. Her actions became increasingly intrusive. She accused me of infidelity, questioned whether John was Charles's son, and even mocked our lack of a prenuptial agreement. One day, Charles snapped, publicly defending me and calling her out for her behavior. This outburst marked a turning point, and we ceased all contact with her. 2 months ago, we discovered I was pregnant again. We decided to announce the news during Charles's birthday party. Despite not being invited, Karen showed up unannounced, claiming she had been in therapy and wanted to apologize for her past behavior. Though skeptical, we decided to let it go for the sake of the party. When we announced the pregnancy, everyone was overjoyed, except for Karen, who appeared irritated. She later approached me with a plate of food, claiming she wanted to make up for her past actions. As I prepared to eat, I noticed shrimp on the plate. Knowing I'm severely allergic, I decided to get my own food instead. Karen's husband James then took the plate, saying he would eat it. Minutes later, James began vomiting and passed out. He was rushed to the hospital, where we learned he had been poisoned. The police were called, and it was revealed that Karen had tampered with the food. She admitted to mixing rat poison into the meal, intending to harm me. Karen was arrested and later admitted to her actions in court. She revealed years of jealousy towards me and confessed that her actions were fueled by her resentment over my marriage to Charles and our pregnancy announcement. She is now serving time in prison, and James has divorced her. Despite the trauma, Charles and I are moving forward. We recently welcomed our baby daughter Shine, and our son John is thrilled to be a big brother. While the scars of Karen's actions remain, we are focused on our growing family and the joy they bring us.